to devotees. Enlightenment to devotion. It is true that other recognize enhances one's power, but for liberation there is no other way without devotion. Now I myself do not think of any other sadhana except devotion. I say that only by devotion everything can be achieved. But God doesn't, however, give anybody a place to the realm of love without purpose. So love presupposes so much of setback and humiliation. If one conquers it, his place is on the top. No one is more dear to me than my disciples and devotees. My entire life is dedicated to bring peace and happiness in their lives. Dear child, the only way to find God is deep yearning. The sadhakas do not know how that yearning is generated in them, but others are amazed. It is the grace of God that a sadhaka doesn't himself understand. Otherwise, arrogance and egoism will harm and shut the door to higher spiritual development. Dear child, deep yearning is the only way to realize it. The more one is born in the fire of separation, the more one's spiritual body is formed and formed. On the formation and growth of such a body, one is able to find it. Ultimately, one attains famous of that is the attainment of love and service to God. In Ishtaruka, Aishta, Prema, and Seva are formed in this world. Yes.
Puri and Internet dedicated Sangha Puja-2nd report, date August 7, time 7:15 a.m. to 8:45 Eastern, and second session 9:45 to 11:55. Kalia Sarasa, Niluma and Kumalima. Adilesana Puja, August 6, was held in Akumandila at 7 p.m. EST in the presence of Mr. Dharma and Yarasi. Present man Hari attendance in website. First session started at 7:15 a.m. to 8:45 p.m. The first session of the Puja started at 7:15 a.m. with Pratisha, sang by Vinama and Pujama. Aarti performed by Visuchi Satibhai, followed by Vandana, Vandai Ducharama, and Sotavandana by Smitarima, and Rajitra by Rekha Saitapatra, followed by Samirani and Asana Mandira Nitya Puja. Pritama and Uditama read the Samadevaka for session, Bhakam, Vandana, Vyasana, and Kapana Saitapatra. And Purnitama recited the report from Sri Sri Devika. Then Purnima did the invitation for the following Puja session after this. To start at 9:45 a.m. EST, the Asana was closed after Chanti Namakirtana and Prasthana. Second session 9:45 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. The second session of the Puja started at 9:45 a.m. with Avahana followed by Sukanyama and Ambika. This was followed by Pranamadana and offering of the person. Sita Laima sang Vandana and Vandana Samari the Pranjay Patra. Niluma sang Irisopati Prasana. Sankara read from the Niluma Patra, page 155 to 156. Napomai image. Vinay read the medical class session. Pancha Sanyasini Nitya, page 78 to 93, read by Vedrupima. Anjilima Sayama Prasthana Sangita, Uttama Dev Samsara Bhakti, part 1, presented by Dr. Krishna Sudarshan. The young expectation commenced with Prasthana Sangita, followed by Vision, Satima Data Young Expectation. Then Bhavamina was done by Saraswat, Niduma and Dhanima. So Dhanima gave the invitation for Madhyana Bhoga and Evening Puja. Kirti, Ravinda Bhai and Puja Ma gave the invitation for the next Puja, Sangha Puja to be held on August 14. Invitation for Janmatama Puja at August 11, held by Bhaktima, Sivani Dima, Sivanima, Sukkanyama, Aradhanama, Ravinda Bhai, Amita Bhai. Then Janavai did the invitation for Guhasana Baptist on August 13th. In Prithvi Nirmama asked Sri Thakura all five Math and Lessons for forgiveness for the mistakes and errors committed deliberately or unintentionally for the conversation and during the Puja session. After the Vidya Prasthana, Dayamara Sri Shirale followed by Sirani Ma, then chanting of Guru Nama Kirtana, Pranama, and afterwards at the end, messages to Devai to President of the presence of his Puja. Jai.
जय गुरु श्री श्री ठाकुर महात्मा पेज 11 द्वितीय मुद्रण प्रकाशकर निवेदन श्री श्री ठाकुर कृपार दीर्घ दिन पर श्री श्री ठाकुर महात्मा नवकलेवर आत्म प्रकाश कला श्री श्री ठाकुर कुलदेश अवधान कर समय 1335 साल गोविंद पूर्णिमा तिथि ग्रंथ प्रथम प्रकाशित होता ଏହି ଗ୍ରନ୍ଥର ପ୍ରଥମ ମୁଦ୍ରଣର ପ୍ରକାଶକ ଥିଲେ ଆମର ପ୍ରବୀଣ ସଚେତ ଶ୍ରୀହଜାର ଓକିଲ ଶ୍ରୀଯୁକ୍ତ ଅଙ୍କୁଳ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ଦାସ। ଗ୍ରନ୍ଥକାର ଏହି ମୁଦ୍ରଣରେ ଘୋଷଣା କରିଥିଲେ ଏହି ଗ୍ରନ୍ଥର ଲଭ୍ୟାଂଶ ପୂର୍ବ ବଙ୍ଗଳା ସାରସ୍ୱତ ଆଶ୍ରମର ବିକାଶରେ ଜଡ଼ିତ ହେବ। ଏହାପରେ ଏହି ଗ୍ରନ୍ଥର ସ୍ୱତ୍ୱ ମଧ୍ୟ ସେ ଉକ୍ତ ଆଶ୍ରମକୁ ଅର୍ପଣ କରୁଥିଲେ। ଦୀର୍ଘ ଦିନ ହେଲା ଏହାର ପ୍ରଥମ ମୁଦ୍ରଣ ଶେଷ ହୋଇଯାଇଥିଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ आश्रम विपर्य हेतु ग्रंथर पुनर्मुद्रण संभवपर होना श्री श्री ठाकुर करुणा तथा भक्त मान आग्रहाचितर्य श्री श्री ठाकुर महात्मा नववेश सज्जित कर भक्त मान हस्त अर्पण कर निजक धन्य और कृतकृतार्थ मन कर परिशेष निवेदन मोर प्रदेश स्वामी सिद्धानंद महाराज द्वितीय प्रकाशन संशोधन और षष्ठव साधन अभिज्ञता प्रयोग कर श्री श्री ठाकुर चरणाश्रित विदग्ध भक्त श्री अमरेन्द्र राय MABT प्रोत्साहित लिखि मत स्थिति बंधन में बद्ध कर वर्तमान यही ग्रंथ भक्त समाज समादृत हेले आमर परिश्रम सार्थक ज्ञान कर श्री श्री गुरु चरणाश्रित स्वामी निर्मलानंद सरस्वती प्रकाशक पेज 12 मंगलाचरण सृष्टि दशमी श्री व्यवस्था नंदन्ते सर्वे भक्ति से जनाभत्वं विन्दते न च जस्यांगुली हेलने हेलया भवति निस्वत्व विच्छति कर्तुं गस्पदमेव रे मन भज तं नित्यं निगमानंद जहाँ को संतोष स्वर्गस्थित देवगण आनंदित होती जहाँ पूजा न करी अन्य कौन देवता पूजा कराए ना जहाँ अंगुली हेलन भवसागर को गोपद तुल्य उत्तीर्ण होगा निसंबल हो इच्छा करी मन से निगमानंद को नित्य भजन कर श्लोक 2 आश्रिते जौन कांक्षते मुक्ते मुक्ति अभीते हस्त मूढ़मपि जनम प्रपन्ना मादत्ते सर्वं कृपया गलितो जः सृष्टिर्जस्य भीतिहरा प्रसक्तान रे मनो भज तं नित्यं निगमानंद आश्रित जन को अमुक्त रखी जे मुक्ति आकांक्षा करती नहीं एवं कृपा परवश होई आश्रय प्रार्थी मूढ़जन को मध्य अभय प्रदान पूर्वक जे ग्रहण करती जहाँ दृष्टि प्रसक्त जनर भीतिहरण करे रे मन से निर्मलानंदन को नित्य भजना कर प्रभवं यस्य दिगधर्म बद्धुः जुगं दृष्टा तमो प्रजातं नराः कलिघटा भ्रान्ता ध्रुव मवलोक्य नाविका इव धावन्ति हिनाः सुकृति कणे प्रयाति रे मनो भज तम नित्यं निगमानन्दम्। तेणु ଯୁଗଧର୍ମ କାଳକଙ୍କର ଶୁଭ ଆବିର୍ଭାବ ଅବଲୋକନ କରି କଣିକା ମାତ୍ର ସୁକୃତିବିହୀନ କଳିର ମାନବଗଣ ଧ୍ରୁବ ନକ୍ଷତ୍ର ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟକାରୀ ଦିଗହରା ନାବିକ ସଦୃଶ ତାଙ୍କ ଉଦ୍ଦେଶ୍ୟରେ ସାବିତ ହେଉଅଛି। ଏ ମନ ସେହି ନିଗମାନନ୍ଦଙ୍କୁ ନିତ୍ୟ ପ୍ରକାଶ ନିଗମଲଭ୍ୟଂ ନୈବାନନ୍ଦଂ କୃଷ୍ଣଂ ଯେନ ସନ୍ନିଧିରପି ଚ ଭକ୍ତାନାଂ ବିଗୁଣାନାଂ ଶକ୍ନୋତି ଦାତୁମାନନ୍ଦ ମମଳଂ ତସ୍मै पतित प्रियाय परित्राणाय हरये हे मन भज तम नित्यम निगमानंद। जे केवल वेदांतर आनंदरे विभोर हुअନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ, गुणहीन भक्त सान्निध्यरे ମଧ୍ୟ ଯାହାଙ୍କର ଆନନ୍ଦ ହୁଏ, ଯେ ପତିତ ଜନକୁ ସୁଖ ପାଆନ୍ତି ଓ ହରିଙ୍କ ପରି ପରିତ୍ରାତା ରେ ମନ ସେହି ନିଗମାନନ୍ଦଙ୍କୁ ନିତ୍ୟ ଭଜନ କର। ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁର ମହାତ୍ମା ପ୍ରଥମ ପରିଚ୍ଛେଦ। ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣ ଜନ୍ମଗ୍ରହଣ କରିଥିଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଯଜ୍ଞସୂତ୍ର ଭିନ୍ନ ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣତ୍ୱ ଦାବି କରିବା ପାଇଁ ମୋର ବିଶେଷ କିଛି ସମ୍ବଳ ନଥିଲା। ମାତା ପିତାଙ୍କର ବୃଦ୍ଧ ବୟସର ପ୍ରଥମ ପୁତ୍ର ବୋଲି ମୋର ବିଶେଷ ଆଦର ଯତ୍ନ ହୋଇଥିଲା। ଉପରନ୍ତୁ ବିଧବା ଅପୁତ୍ରିକା ମାତାମହୀଙ୍କର ସ୍ନେହ ଆଦର ପାଇ ଏକବାରେ ଉଚ୍ଛୃଙ୍ଖଳ ହୋଇ ପଡ଼ିଥିଲେ। ସୁତରାଂ ବାଲ୍ୟକାଳରେ ଅଧ୍ୟୟନରତ ଥିଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅତି ଗେହ୍ଲା ପୁଅର ଯାହା ପରିଣାମ ହୁଏ, ମୋର ଅବସ୍ଥା ତାହା ହିଁ ହୋଇଥିଲା। ମୋ ମତ ବିରୁଦ୍ଧରେ କଥା କହିବାର ସାହସ ସେପରି କାହାର ନଥିଲା। ସୁତରାଂ ବନ୍ଧୁବାନ୍ଧବଙ୍କର ପ୍ରସାଦରେ ନୈତିକ ଚରିତ୍ର ମଧ୍ୟ ସମ୍ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ନିଷ୍କଳୁଷ ରହିଲା ନାହିଁ। 19 ବର୍ଷ ବୟସରେ ବିବାହିତ ହେବା ଫଳରେ ଏବଂ ବାର୍ଦ୍ଧକ୍ୟ ହେତୁ ପିତା ସଂସାର କର୍ମରେ ଅକ୍ଷମ ହେବାରୁ ସଂସାର କ୍ଷେତ୍ରରେ ପ୍ରବେଶ କରିବାର ପ୍ରଥମ ସୋପାନ ସ୍ୱରୂପ ଶିକ୍ଷକତା କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ ଗ୍ରହଣ କଲି। କ୍ରମଶଃ ସାମାନ୍ୟ ଜମିବାଡ଼ି ଓ ସୁଧ ଲଗାଣ କାରବାର ଯାହା କିଛି ଥିଲା, ତାହାର ସଂରକ୍ଷଣ ପାଇଁ ମାଲି ମକଦ୍ଦମାରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଜଡ଼ିତ ହୋଇପଡ଼ିଲି। ଅଳ୍ପ ଦିନ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ମାନସିକ ଅବସ୍ଥା ସମ୍ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତିତ ହୋଇଗଲା। କିପରି ଗଣ୍ୟମାନ୍ୟ ବଡ଼ଲୋକ ହୋଇପାରିବି, ଏହା ହିଁ ଏକମାତ୍ର ଚିନ୍ତା। ମୋ ଧାରଣା ଅନୁଯାୟୀ ବଡ଼ଲୋକ ହେବାଟା ମଧ୍ୟ ଯୋଗ୍ୟତର ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ପକ୍ଷରେ ବଡ଼ କଠିନ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ ନଥିଲା। ପରିବାର ଭରଣ ପୋଷଣ ଉପଯୋଗୀ କ୍ଷମାର 2-4 ଘର ପ୍ରଜା ଏବଂ ବିବାହ, ପୂଜା ପାର୍ବଣରେ ଓ ବନ୍ଧୁବାନ୍ଧବ ସମାଗମରେ ହୁକୁମ ସାମିଲ ଓ ଖତାମତ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଅନ୍ତତଃ 2-1 ଜଣ ଚାକରବାକର ଥିଲେ ହିଁ ଯଥେଷ୍ଟ। ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଜାମଜମକ ସହିତ ଦୋଳ, ଦୁର୍ଗା ପୂଜା ଉତ୍ସବ ପ୍ରଭୃତି ବଡ଼ କଣିଆର ପରିଚାଳିତ ଅନୁଷ୍ଠାନ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ସମ୍ପନ୍ନ କରିପାରିଲେ ହେଲା। ଅନ୍ୟାନ୍ୟ ବାସନା ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଆପାତତଃ ପୂରଣ ନହେଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ କ୍ଷତି ନାହିଁ। କିନ୍ତୁ ମୋର ଯୋଗ୍ୟତା ଏପରି ଯେ ଏତିକିରେ ବି ମୁଣ୍ଡ ଘୂରିଗଲା। କେତେ ଖଟଣି ଖଟି କେତେ ପ୍ରକାର ଫନ୍ଦି କରି ମଧ୍ୟ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ ଦିଗରେ ପାଦେ ମାତ୍ର ଅଗ୍ରସର ହୋଇପାରିଲି ନାହିଁ। ଚତୁର୍ଦିଗରେ ପ୍ରତିକୂଳତା, ନ୍ୟାଯ୍ୟ ପ୍ରାପ୍ୟ ପାଇବା ଉଦ୍ଦେଶ୍ୟରେ ମକଦ୍ଦମା କରିବାକୁ ଯାଇ 25ଟା ମିଛ କଥା କହିବାକୁ ପଡ଼େ। ସେଥିରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ସବୁ ଜାଗାରେ ସଫଳତା ମିଳେ ନାହିଁ। ଏହିପରି ଅହରହ ଅଶାନ୍ତି ଭୋଗ କରିବାକୁ ଲାଗେ। ଯାହା ହେଉ, ଗୋଟିଏ ଦିଗରେ ଅଶାନ୍ତି ଭୋଗ କଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅନ୍ୟ ଦିଗରେ ମୋର ଉଚ୍ଛୃଙ୍ଖଳ ମନ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ସଂସାର ଚିନ୍ତାରେ କେନ୍ଦ୍ରୀଭୂତ ହେବାକୁ ଲାଗିଲା। ସାଂସାରିକ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟକ୍ରମ ଛଡ଼ା ବାଜେ ଆମୋଦ ପ୍ରମୋଦ, ବନ୍ଧୁବାନ୍ଧବଙ୍କ ସହ ଆଡ୍ଡା କିଛି ଆଉ ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା ନାହିଁ। ସଂସାର ଚିନ୍ତାରେ ଅସ୍ଥିର, ମୁଖ ସର୍ବଦା ମଳିନ, ହସିଲେ କେବଳ ଦାନ୍ତ ଦେଖାଇବା ହିଁ ତାର ହୁଏ। ଅଧିକ କଥା କହିବାକୁ ନିଶ୍ଚା, କହିଲେ ବି ବହୁତ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ। ଯାହା ହେଉ, ଏହିପରି ଅମ୍ଳପିତ୍ତ ରୋଗୀର ମିଜାଜ ଧରି ମଧ୍ୟ ପ୍ରବୀଣ ପ୍ରତିବେଶୀମାନଙ୍କ ନିକଟରେ ଜଣେ ଗଣ୍ୟମାନ୍ୟ ପକ୍କା ସଂସାରୀ ହିସାବରେ ପରିଚିତ ହୋଇଥିଲେ। ଚତୁର୍ଦିଗରେ ଖୁବ୍ ପ୍ରତିପତ୍ତି, ଗ୍ରାମ୍ୟ ବିଚାର ଓ ପଞ୍ଚାୟତରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଡାକ ପଡ଼େ। ଦୋଷୀ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦୋଷ ବିଚାର କରିବାରେ ବି ପରାମର୍ଶ ନିଆଯାଏ। ଗ୍ରାମର କୌଣସି ବିଶେଷ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ ଆଗରୁ ମୋତେ ନ ଜଣାଇ ଅନୁଷ୍ଠିତ ହୁଏ ନାହିଁ। ମୋର ଗୋଟିଏ ଗୋଟିଏ ବିଶିଷ୍ଟ ଗୁଣ ଯୋଗୁଁ ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କ ନିକଟରେ ପ୍ରଶଂସିତ ହେବାକୁ ଲାଗେ। ସର୍ବଦା ମନେ ମନେ ରାଜପ୍ରାସାଦ ନିର୍ମାଣ ଚିନ୍ତାରେ ସୁଖ ଭାରାକ୍ରାନ୍ତ ଥିବାରୁ ଅଳ୍ପ ଭାଷିତା ଓ ବୁଦ୍ଧିମତାର ପ୍ରଶଂସା ମିଳେ। ଚିତ୍ତର ସ୍ଫୂର୍ତ୍ତିହୀନତା ଯୋଗୁଁ ଅଧରରେ ହସ ନାହିଁ ବୋଲି ଗାମ୍ଭୀର୍ଯ୍ୟର ପ୍ରଶଂସା। ଦୁଶ୍ଚିନ୍ତା ଭାରାକ୍ରାନ୍ତ ମନ ନେଇ
କୁଆଡ଼େ ଯିବାକୁ ବା ଯାହା ତାହା ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ମିଳାମିଶା କରିବାକୁ ପ୍ରବୃତ୍ତି ହୁଏ ନାହିଁ ବୋଲି ମର୍ଯ୍ୟାଦା ଜ୍ଞାନର ପ୍ରଶଂସା। ତାପରେ ଯଜମାନୀ ବ୍ୟବସାୟ ଥିବାରୁ ଅଧମରଣ ମାନଙ୍କର ଚାଟୁବାକ୍ୟ ଶୁଣି ଶୁଣି ବିରକ୍ତ ହୋଇ ପଡୁଥିଲି। ଯାହା ହେଉ ମୁଁ ଅଯୋଗ୍ୟ ବୋଲି ଏତାଦୃଶ୍ୟ ପଦମର୍ଯ୍ୟାଦା ବେଶୀ ଦିନ ଅକ୍ଷୁର୍ଣ୍ଣ ରଖିପାରିଲି ନାହିଁ। ଏହି ସବୁ ଖ୍ୟାତି ପ୍ରତିପତ୍ତି ବଜାୟ ରଖିବାକୁ ଯାଇ ଦିଗକ ବିରୁଦ୍ଧ ପଥରେ ଗତି କରି ମଧ୍ୟ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପ୍ରତିକୂଳତା ଏଡ଼ାଇ ପାରିଲି ନାହିଁ, ସେତେବେଳେ ନିଜ ଶକ୍ତି ତୁଳନାରେ ଅନ୍ୟ 10 ଜଣଙ୍କ ଶକ୍ତି ମୋ ନିକଟରେ ଅସାଧାରଣ ଜ୍ଞାନ ହେଲା। ଭାବିଲି ସାଂସାରିକ ସଫଳତା ଲାଭ କରା ଏତେ କଠିନ, ତଥାପି ମନୁଷ୍ୟ ବେଶ ହସି ଖେଳି ସଂସାର କରୁଛି। ପଦେ ପଦେ ବିଫଳ ମନୋରଥ ହୋଇ ମଧ୍ୟ କଣ ଏପରି ଆଗ୍ରହରେ କୌଣସି ପଥରେ ଚାଲିବ? ତେବେ କଣ ମୋ ପାଇଁ ସ୍ୱତନ୍ତ୍ର ବ୍ୟବସ୍ଥା? ଗୁରୁକରଣର ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଗୁରୁ କୃପା ଯେ ମୋର ପ୍ରକୃତି ପଥରେ କଣ୍ଟକ ସଦୃଶ ଦଣ୍ଡାୟମାନ ହୋଇଥିଲା, ତାହା ସେତେବେଳେ ବୁଝିନଥିଲି। ଗୁରୁ ଶିଷ୍ୟ ସମ୍ବନ୍ଧ ଏକ ଜନ୍ମର ନୁହେଁ। ଅନେକ ଦିନ ପରେ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ମୁଖରୁ ଏକଥା ଶୁଣି ସେତେବେଳେ ବୁଝିଥିଲି। ଆଗରୁ ଦୈବ ଉପରେ ମୋର ବିଶ୍ୱାସ ନଥିଲା, କିନ୍ତୁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କରିବାକୁ ପ୍ରୟାସ ଓ ପ୍ରଯତ୍ନ କରେ ଏବଂ କରିପାରିଲେ କିଛି ଶାନ୍ତି ଲାଭ କରେ। କିନ୍ତୁ ଏହା କଣ ମହର କଥା? ପ୍ରକୃତ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କଣ ଏତେ ସହଜରେ ଆସେ? ମନକୁ କେବଳ ଫାଙ୍କି ଦିଆଯାଇପାରେ। ଦୈବ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କରେ କି ନାହିଁ, ଏହା ମୁଁ ନିଜକୁ ବୁଝାଇ ପାରିବି ନାହିଁ। ଅନେକ ସମୟରେ ଆମେ ଦୈବକୁ ମାନୁ ସତ, କିନ୍ତୁ ତାହାର ବିଧାନକୁ ମଥା ପୋତି ସହି ନେବାକୁ ନାରାଜ ହେଉ। ଅବଶ୍ୟ ଏହା ମୋ ପରି ସୁଖଲିପ୍ସୁ ଓ ଅଳସ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ସମ୍ବନ୍ଧରେ ପ୍ରଯୁଜ୍ୟ। ସୁଖ ଦୁଃଖର ସ୍ପୃହା ଥିବା ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ପ୍ରକୃତ ଦୈବ ନିର୍ଭରତା କେବେ ହେଲେ ଆସିପାରିବ ନାହିଁ। ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଦୁଃଖ ଚାହୁଁନା, ସେତେବେଳେ କହୁ ତାଙ୍କ ଇଚ୍ଛା ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ହେଉ। କିନ୍ତୁ ତାଙ୍କ ଇଚ୍ଛା ଯଦି ଆମ ଇଚ୍ଛାର ପ୍ରତିକୂଳ ହୋଇ ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ହୁଏ, ତେବେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆମେ ଅସ୍ୱୀକାର କରୁ। ଅର୍ଥାତ୍ ସେତେବେଳେ ଆଉ ଦୈବ ଉପରେ ନିର୍ଭର କରି ଆମେ ନିଶ୍ଚିନ୍ତ ରହିପାରୁନା। ମୁଁ ଏହି ପ୍ରକାରର ଦୈବ ବିଶ୍ୱାସୀ, ତେଣୁ ଦୈବ ନିର୍ଭରତା ଜନିତ ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ଶାନ୍ତି ମୋ ଭାଗ୍ୟରେ ସମ୍ଭବ ହେଲା ନାହିଁ। ଏହା ମୋର ଜୀବନ ନାଟକର ତୃତୀୟ ଅଂଶ। ପ୍ରଥମ ଅଙ୍କର ଅର୍ଥାତ୍ ବାଲ୍ୟ ଜୀବନ ସମ୍ବନ୍ଧରେ କୌଣସି ଉଲ୍ଲେଖ କରିନାହିଁ। ଦୁରାରୋଗ୍ୟ ବ୍ୟାଧି ଛଡ଼ା ସେତେବେଳର ଆଉ କୌଣସି ଉଲ୍ଲେଖନୀୟ ଘଟଣା ନାହିଁ। ଦ୍ୱିତୀୟାଙ୍କ ଛାତ୍ର ଜୀବନର ଅଭିନୟ ଉଚ୍ଛୃଙ୍ଖଳ ଭାବରେ ସମାପ୍ତ କରି କେବେ ମାତ୍ର ତୃପ୍ତି ଲାଭ କରିପାରିଲି ନାହିଁ। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ତୃତୀୟାଙ୍କର ଅଭିନୟ ମଞ୍ଚରେ ଆରୂଢ଼ ହୋଇ ଚତୁର୍ଦିଗ ଅନ୍ଧକାର ଦେଖିବାକୁ ଲାଗିଲେ। ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଏହି ସମୟର ବର୍ଣ୍ଣନା ଯାହା କରିଛି, ତାହା ନିତାନ୍ତ ଭାବରେ ଅକିଞ୍ଚିତକର। ଯାହା ହେଉ, କାଳ ପ୍ରଭାବରେ ଆଜିକାଲି ଭୁକ୍ତଭୋଗୀଙ୍କର ଅଭାବ ନାହିଁ, ତେଣୁ ସହଜରେ ଅନେକେ ଉପଲବ୍ଧି କରିପାରିବେ। ସୁତରାଂ ବିଜ୍ଞ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତିଙ୍କର ବିରକ୍ତି ଉତ୍ପାଦନରୁ ବିରତ ହେଉଅଛି। ଲୋଭ ଅଛି, ସମ୍ପୃକ୍ତି ନାହିଁ। ପିପାସା ଅଛି, ଜଳ ନାହିଁ। ଇଚ୍ଛା ଅଛି, ଶକ୍ତି ନାହିଁ। ଏ ବଡ଼ ବିଷମ ଅବସ୍ଥା। ମୁଁ ଆଉ କୌଣସି ମତେ ଏ ଅବସ୍ଥା ସହ୍ୟ କରିପାରିଲି ନାହିଁ। ନିରାଶାରେ ହୃଦୟ ଭାଙ୍ଗିଗଲା। ଆଗରୁ ଯାହାଙ୍କର ସାନ୍ନିଧ୍ୟ ମଧୁର ବୋଧ ହେଉଥିଲା, ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ସେମାନଙ୍କର ଭଲ ପାଇବା, ସାଂସାରିକ କର୍ମ ଏସବୁ କିଛି ଆଉ ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା ନାହିଁ। ମାନସିକ ଦୁର୍ବଳତା ସଙ୍ଗେ ସଙ୍ଗେ ଭୟଙ୍କର ଶାରୀରିକ ଜଡ଼ତା ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ହେଲା। ଉତ୍ସାହ, ସାହସ, ଧୈର୍ଯ୍ୟ କିଛି ଆଉ ରହିଲା ନାହିଁ। ସ୍କୁଲ ଚାକିରିରେ କୌଣସି ଜଟିଳତା ବା ଅପବିତ୍ରତା ନଥିଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଆଳସ୍ୟ ହେତୁ ତାହା ବିଷମୟ ବୋଧ ହେଲା। ପିତା ପୂର୍ବରୁ 1322 ସାଲ ଭାଦ୍ରବତୀ ଦିନ ପରଲୋକ ଗମନ କରିଥିଲେ। ବୃଦ୍ଧା ମାତା ଓ ସ୍ତ୍ରୀ ପୁତ୍ର ପ୍ରଭୃତି ଯେପରି ମୋର କଳଗ୍ରହ ସ୍ୱରୂପ ବୋଧ ହେଲେ। ମନେ ହେଲା କୌଣସି ନିବୃତ୍ତ ସ୍ଥାନକୁ ପଳାଇଗଲେ ହୁଏତ ଏଥିରୁ ପରିତ୍ରାଣ ମିଳିବ। This is Chapter Mahatma, page 11 to 16 summary. After a long time and by the grace of Thakur, this Chapter Mahatma book was published when Thakur was present in physical body during 1357 Govind Purnima. The publisher of the first edition was Srihad Residency Honorable Sangha Dattavai. He declared the profit of the book will be donated to each member Saraswati. With her request and devotee request by Swami Nirmala Saraswati to finish the second edition of the book This was edited by Swami Sivananda and Amalendu has write the introduction part of the book. I described in the book by his happiness all the gods are peace, no the God is worshipped without worshipping him. A mind, pray to that Lord in the one. One who doesn't think about his salvation or redemption without his disciples, whose one side takes away fear of the people, a mind, do daily him to that Nilakanda. By whose official presence, everyone running like AMSAS towards him, a mind, do worship that Nilakanda, who does not rejoice with the joy of Vedas alone, but is happy just with the presence of his disciples without seeing their qualifications. He likes the fallen one and takes care of like tree life. A mind do chant that Nigananda daily basis. He was born in a Brahmin family. I was born in a Brahmin family and then he was the first child of his parents. Being the first child, he was given special care, affection by his parents and maternal grandfather. He was the apple of their eye. They stored with so much affection and care, grew up without having to worry much. Nobody could go against his word, so with this, at the age of 19, he got married and took over responsibility of family. He took care of everybody, and when he started his career by taking a professional teaching, took over the responsibility of their land and then the interest and transaction of those lands. In few days, he completely got engrossed in family friends and materialistic life. His aim was to be rich and successful. He thought of living the extravagant life was too easy. His assumptions were wrong. Success did not come so easily. Embroiled in so many disputes, issues, and problems, he started becoming more worried, unhappy within, but was pretending to be happy on the exterior. Over a period, despite all ups and downs, he regrets in life. He continued to lead a righteous life and established himself as a renowned person, though in his circle, he started realizing living contented and fulfilling life is not that easy, and then how people are able to manage it and stay happy in their everyday life. He realized uh, Guru and disciple relationship is not from one word that he heard from his disciple. Earlier, he was not believing in God. Then he started trying to believe in God, but it was not so easy. There is lust, but there is no satisfaction. There is thirst, but no water. There is desire, but no power in the state of mind. Was not able to bear his constant turmoil going in his mind. He started disliking all material world things. There is nothing left for eagerness, courage, determination. By this time, his father passed away. Old mother, wife, and son were his everything. He was so bored of his life to sin that he was thinking he can run away to a secluded place so that he can be saved. Just
Join Sangha Portrait. Isn't you who understand the benefit of Brahmacharya are unable to practice it because of guidance from their diet. Most parents believe that if their child eats of non-vegetarian food, then he will become a monk. Many expected fathers highlight doctors' opinion that not eating diet is may lead to alignment of their eye, especially as it leads to loss of strength and distorts the mind. I ask, do the widows and vegetarian Hindus from Western India wear glasses like you from Eastern India who eat meat and fish? Everyone knows one Punjabi or Maharashtrian youth can pin down 10 fish eating young men from our region. Considering health, no one gets more sick than us. It's rare to find men with high vitality or women with unhindered menstrual cycle. The father does not give his child the opportunity to study spiritual truth. In his weak heart, there is a constant fear that his child might become a saint and lose interest in earning money. Parents do so because they have not have any spiritual education. So in current times, most fathers are like incarnation of Hiranyakasipu. Spiritual education. There is a teaching. Is there anything remaining with the misery of Hindu society? You mean organized gatherings to meet and shout out for the upliftment of the country, but without true education, there can be no good infrastructure. Spirituality is the foundation of all progress. With true education spirituality is nourished, it then starts the true progress of the nation. Without spirituality, no one can give up selfishness and expand the limit itself to encompass the entire universe. Without spirituality, no one can give up selfishness for the sake of others. If one wishes for progress in all fronts, then one needs spiritual strength first. One cannot achieve that. One cannot achieve that strength though just reading books or making speeches. Also, it doesn't work if the adherence to Brahmacharya is through words only. You need the support of wealth from the rich, knowledge from the scholars, and perseverance from the common people, and put all of it to work. Even when you have not practiced Brahmacharya in year earlier, it is crucial to know that you realize the value of Brahmacharya and develop a strong culture that often knocks apart for passing on the practice of their children. Jai. बोलती भाई मैंने माना के मुझे दोनों हम लोग ने कितना डिजिटल बड़े डिजिटल जो अक्षर है ऐसे कौन बोल रहा हूँ ये अगला होगा वो तो कुछ के मेरा वाला अपना अपने हम से मुझे ना बाकी हो चुके जम्मू से ये हमें हम लोग ने साला इसे व्हाट्सएप मैसेज फोन इन जनरल कौन की क्या होता है हमने साला हमने जैसे आपको भी मैसेज परंतु ଆପଣ ମଧ୍ୟ ଶୁଣା କାଟି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଆପଣ ମେସେଜ ପଠେଇଲେ ଚାହିଁବେ ଆପଣ ଗୁଗଲ ଗୁଗଲ ଇଏ those are things cannot wait until the end ଏମିତି ଦରକାର କି ଭିଡ଼ିଓ କଣ କାଟିବ ଇଏ କିନ୍ତୁ ନୁହେଁ ଆପଣ ବି ଦରକାର ନୁହେଁ କି ଯୋଉ ଭୁଲ ଏଇସବୁ କହୁଛି ଯେ ପ୍ରଥମ କଥା ଧରନ୍ତୁ ସ୍ୱତନ୍ତ୍ର ଚାଲିଛି ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ମେସେଜ ପଠେଇବେ ତାମାନେ ସ୍ୱତନ୍ତ୍ର ମାନେ ମନ ନାହିଁ ଆମର ମେସେଜ ପଠେଇବା पुस्तक पाठ चाली कि गोटे गीत बड़ा चाली आम से विषय पढ़ू करते हम पुस्तक कौन पढ़ा मन ना कि कौन गीत बड़ा भावटा ग्रहण कर इच्छा नहीं आम से विषय पढ़ू मेसेज पढ़ा तो जहाँ कर आम संघ पूजार उद्देश्य जे आमको जोगदूत गला यहाँ कि कहला द्वितीय कथा जे ठाकुर निर्देश सूचना कले वर्णना करा अर्थ बुझे चेष्टा कर संघर्ष कौन कौन हम शास्त्र पाठ हम आलोचना हम ताको चाहिए आम से मोबाइल फोन में माति लैपटॉप में माति अन्य किसी काम कर ठाकुर जो उद्देश्य संघ गठन कर संघ पूजा करने निर्देश देते उद्देश्य सफल होना तांकर निर्देश आम अमान्य तृतीय कथा जो मत लास्ट ड्रॉप जन्मोत्सव ये धरत आम तो कौना कौना आउ जन कौन भावर गीत चली भाव गीत मानने भाव मत ये मेसेज चिंता चिंता मेसेज तार भाव भंग ये जो अपराध था अपराध से आई गया ये हम कहूँ ये जन्म कथा कहूँ ये परिचय क्या कहूँ प्रथम कथा तो मनटा एत चंचल से विषय को एत ध्यान कर जाणी आम ठाकुर पास लगे लगे केतल भागी फल अन्य तारे ये विषय प्रतिभा आहरी असुविधा सृष्टि कर गोटे हाथ मोर फोन आगे परिचय परिचय पढ़ुची चिंता नहीं चेष्टा आउ मन आसला ना अभिलाष अपराध होती किसी आकर्षकता ना प्रतिभा जन पठे उचित ଯଦି ଆମେ ପଠେଇଦେବେ ଆମ ପାଖରେ ଗରିବ ପଚାଶ ପଢ଼ିବା କୌଣସି ଆବଶ୍ୟକ ନାହିଁ ଯୋଉ କାମ ଶିକ୍ଷା ନୁହେଁ ଆମର ଶରୀର ପରେ ଭାବୁଛି ନାହିଁ ଆଜ୍ଞା ମାନେ କହୁନି ଯେ କେବଳ ଭାଷା କଥା ମୋ କହିବା କଥା ସବୁ କାଲି ଠାକୁର ଯୋଉ ହିସାବରେ ସଂସ୍ଥା ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିଛନ୍ତି ଯୋଉ ହିସାବରେ ନବପୂଜା କରିବାକୁ ଆମକୁ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦେଶ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ସେ ଉଦ୍ଦେଶ୍ୟ ସଫଳ ହଉନାହିଁ ଯଦି ଆମେ କୌଣସି ଗୀତବେଳେ ଚାଲିଛେ ସେଟା ଆମେ नसुला आगे मुझे मरइला पुस्तक चली से आम आटेंशन नद ये सब विफल आम जी पाइबा से पाइबा से पाइबार वंचित करना ये विश्वास रख जी पाइबा से सुझे उदाहरण रखिए मोर अनुरोध और ठाकुर निर्देश रखा श्रृंखला भाव निराकरण ठाकुर प्रतिदान करे श्रृंखलित भाव में जीवन यापन चेष्टा आखिर संघ श्रृंखला हो तुम वहां जाए अनुरोध केवल हम नुहे संघ ପୂଜାରେ ଗୁରୁ ସ୍ୱୟଂ ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଆମ ସାମ୍ନାରେ, ଯେମିତି ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବା ସେଇଟା ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବା।
So I'll continue where Swarapathi left off. ଆଜି ଆମେ ପଢ଼ିଲେ ସନ୍ତୋଷରେ ଯେ ବିକ୍ଷିପ୍ତ ମନ ବିକ୍ଷିପ୍ତ ଅବସ୍ଥାରେ ଥିଲାବେଳେ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କଲେ ତାର କିଛି ଫଳ ମିଳିଥାଏ। ମନର 5ଟି ଅବସ୍ଥା ଅଛି, ମନର ଚିତ୍ତର 5ଟି ଅବସ୍ଥା ବୋଲି କୁହାଯାଉଛି। At some point you could divide mano and chitta to different things. In chitta avastha, then mano kind of grabs from ବିକ୍ଷିପ୍ତ ଏକାଗ୍ର ବିରୁଦ୍ଧ। ଏକାଗ୍ର ଅବସ୍ଥାରେ ନ ରହିକି ଯୋଉଟା ସତ୍ୱଗୁଣ ଅବସ୍ଥା, ସେ ସତ୍ୱଗୁଣିଆ ନ ହେଇକି ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କଲେ ସେ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କିଛି ଫଳ ନାହିଁ। ବିକ୍ଷିପ୍ତ ଅବସ୍ଥାଟା ହେଉଛି ମୋଷ୍ଟଲି ରଜଗୁଣୀ ଅବସ୍ଥା। ରଜଗୁଣୀ ଅବସ୍ଥାରେ କ'ଣ ହବ, ଆପଣଙ୍କର ମନର ଚଞ୍ଚଳତା ବହୁତ ରହିବ। ଗୋଟିଏ କଥା କହୁଛନ୍ତି, ପରିଚୟପତ୍ର ସ୍ୱାଗତ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ଆପଣ ତାକୁ ରିପିଟ୍ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, କିନ୍ତୁ ମନଟା ଯେମିତି ଅଛି ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ୍ରେ କ'ଣ ମେସେଜ୍ ଆସିଲା, you probably have WhatsApp message on. I shut it down. I don't have WhatsApp message on. Don't do it. ତେଣୁ WhatsApp ଏତେ ମେସେଜ୍ ଆସିଯାଉଛି, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଟାଇମ୍ ମିଳିବ ଦେଖିବି, ଟାଇମ୍ ନାହିଁ କାହିଁ ଦେଖିବା, ସେ ଆସିକି ଡିଷ୍ଟର୍ବ କରୁଛି। ତେଣୁ ମନଟା କିନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ରହୁଛି ଗୋଟେ କ'ଣ ମେସେଜ୍ ଆସିଗଲା ଦେଖିଦେବା କି, ଦେଖିଦେବା ପରେ ମନଟା ରହୁଛି ଗୋଟେ ଆନ୍ସର କରିଦେବା କି, ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି ବିକ୍ଷିପ୍ତ ଅବସ୍ଥା। ତେଣୁ ମନର ଏଇ ବିକ୍ଷିପ୍ତ ଅବସ୍ଥାରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କରିବେ, ଆଜି ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କରୁଥିଲେ, ସେ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନାର ଫଳ ଜମା ମିଳିବ ନାହିଁ। କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ସତ୍ୟରେ ପ୍ରତିଷ୍ଠିତ ହେଲେ ସତ୍ୟକୁ ଧାରଣା କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଧାରଣା ଶକ୍ତି ଥିବା ଦରକାର, ଧୃତି ଶକ୍ତି ଥିବା ଦରକାର। କାହିଁକିନା ଶକ୍ତି ବି ସତ୍ୟରେ ପ୍ରତିଷ୍ଠିତ ହେଇଯାଉଛନ୍ତି, ଟିକେ ଟିକେ ଆଭାସ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ମିଳିଯାଉଛି। If you don't have the power to hold it, you are not going to be able to hold it. ତେଣୁ ସେ ଧୃତି ଶକ୍ତି ପାଇଁ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କରିବା ପାଇଁ କୁହାହେଉଛି। ତାପରେ ଏଇ ଚିତ୍ତର ବିକ୍ଷେପ ଅବସ୍ଥାଟାକୁ ଦୂର କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ। ଚିତ୍ତ ବିକ୍ଷେପ ଅବସ୍ଥାଟା କେମିତି ଦୂର କରିବେ? ଦେହ ମନର ମାଳିନ୍ୟ ଦୂର ନହେଲେ ଚିତ୍ତ ବିକ୍ଷେପ ଦେଖାଯାଏ। ମନରେ ଯେଉଁ ମଇଳା ସବୁ ରହିଯାଇଛି, ଯାହାଫଳରେ କି ମନଟା ଆଡ଼େ ସାଡ଼େ ଯାଉଛି। ମନଟା ଯଦି ଟିକେ ଏକାଗ୍ର ହେଇଯିବ, ଏମିତି ଅବସ୍ଥା ତ ଯନ୍ତ୍ରଣାଦାୟକ ଅବସ୍ଥା, ମନଟା ଯଦି ଟିକେ ଏକାଗ୍ର ହେଇଯିବ, ତାପରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ତାରି ଭିତରେ ମନଟା ରହିବ। ପ୍ରାଥମିକ ଅବସ୍ଥାରେ ଟିକେ ନିଦ ଲାଗେ, ନିଦରୁ ବାହାରିଯିବେ, ମନଟା ତା ଭିତରେ ରହିଯିବ। ସେଇ କଥା ହିଁ ଆପଣ ଶୁଣିପାରିବେ, ସେଇ କଥା ମୁଣ୍ଡରେ ଆଉ କିଛି ପଶିବନି। Yeah, you have a phone next to you, that is how we connect to everybody. But that phone won't matter, because all you are doing is you're focused on the voice that is coming out of the phone, not this other thing. ତେଣୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଚିତ୍ତର ମାନ୍ୟ କେମିତି ଦୂର ହେବ ନା, ଗୁରୁଙ୍କ ଆଦେଶକୁ ପାଳନ କଲେ ଚିତ୍ତର ମାନ୍ୟ ଦୂର। ସେଇ ଗୁରୁଙ୍କ ଆଦେଶ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ନା ସଂଗବଦ୍ଧ ହେବ। କ'ଣ କରିବ ସଂଗବଦ୍ଧ ହେଲେ ନା, ସପ୍ତାହକୁ ଗୋଟେ ଦିନ ଏକାଠି ହେଇକିରି ତାଙ୍କର ବହି ସବୁ ପଢ଼, ଅର୍ଥ ବୁଝିବା ପାଇଁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କର, ଆଉ ତାପରେ କିଛି ପାଠି କରିକି ସେବା କରି ସେଇଟା ଦେଇଦେବ। ସେଇଟା ହେଲା ତାଙ୍କର ଆଦେଶ। ସେ ଆଦେଶକୁ ଟିକେ ପାଳନ କରିବା, ଆଉ ମାନେ with all our focus on that କରିବା। ସେ କଲେ ସେ କ'ଣ କରନ୍ତି, ଆମର 3ଟା ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି ଯୋଉଟାକି ଆମକୁ ଏଇ ଆଡ଼କୁ ନେଇଯାଉଛି। ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ଭୋଗସ୍ପୃହା, ଥାର୍ଡ ଜିନିଷଟା କହିଲେ ଚଳ। ଏଇ 3ଟା ଜିନିଷ ଗୁରୁ ତାଙ୍କ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟକ୍ରମ ନାଶ କରନ୍ତି। ତାଙ୍କ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ କ'ଣ କି, ସେ ଆଦେଶ ଦିଅନ୍ତି, ଉପଦେଶ ଦିଅନ୍ତି, ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆମେ ଅନୁମତି ଆଣୁଛେ ଇତ୍ୟାଦି। ସେ ଆଦେଶ ଉପଦେଶ ଦ୍ୱାରା ଏଗୁଡ଼ାକୁ ସେ ନଷ୍ଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରନ୍ତି। କେମିତି ନା, ତାଙ୍କ ଆଦେଶ ଯଦି ତାଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ପ୍ରଥମେ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ ଆପଣ ହେବା ଦରକାର। ଯଦି ଆମର ବିଶ୍ୱାସ ନ ରହିବ, ତାହେଲେ ଆପଣ ତାଙ୍କ ଆଦେଶ ପାଳନ କରିବେ। ଯଦି ତାଙ୍କର ବିଶ୍ୱାସ ଆସିଗଲା, ଆଦେଶ ପାଳନ କଲେ କ'ଣ ହବ, ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ଅଛି ସେସବୁ ଚାଲିଯିବ। ସ୍ୱାର୍ଥ, ତାଙ୍କ ନିଜର ସେଲ୍ଫିଶ୍ ନେଚର ହେଉଛି କାମନାର କାମ, ଆଉ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଅନସେଲ୍ଫିଶ୍, ତ ଏତିକି ଆମେ ଯାହା ମନେ କରିଥିଲି ଆଲୋଚନା କଲି। ଯଦି କାହାର କିଛି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଥାଏ ପଚାରନ୍ତୁ। We have 3-4 minutes.
Generally, thank you for the presentation. I have to say, like, ଠାକୁରଙ୍କର ବାକ୍ୟ ଯେମିତିକି ମନ ଭିତରେ ଅଲଗା କିଛି ଭାବିବେନି। ସେଇଟା ବି ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଟ୍ରାଏ କଲି ଗୋଟେ ମିନିଟ୍ ରଖିକି ମନ ଭିତରେ କିଛି ରହୁନାହିଁ, ଟୋଟାଲ କିଛି ମନ ଭିତରେ ଆମେ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ କଥା ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ବିଗ୍ରହ ଆଗରେ ରଖି ଆଖି ବନ୍ଦ କଲା ନିଦ୍ରା ଅବସ୍ଥା ଅଛି, ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ତାର ନିଦ୍ରା ଅବସ୍ଥା ଆସିବ, ତାପରେ ଯାଇକି ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ କଥା ଭାବିବ। କିନ୍ତୁ ମତେ ଲାଗୁଛି ଯେ ମାଇଣ୍ଡ କିଛି ପୁରୁଣି କେବଳ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ କଥା ଭାବିବ, ମତେ ଲାଗୁଛି ନିଦ୍ରା ଅବସ୍ଥା ଅଛି।
नहीं सीधा प्राथमिक अवस्था केवल आरंभ होलानी से भीतर जाଉଛି କିଛି କରିବା ସେ ମନଟା ଭାରି ଚଞ୍ଚଳ ଯିଏ ଅର୍ଜୁନ କହିଛନ୍ତି ଦୁର୍ନିଗ୍ରହ ବୋଲି କହିଛନ୍ତି ତାକୁ ସେ ଭଗବାନ ଆନ୍ସର କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଅଭ୍ୟାସ କନ୍ତେ ବୈରାଗ୍ୟ କରିଥାନ୍ତି ଯୋଡ଼ିଏ ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି ତାର ଫଣ୍ଡାମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ଯିଏ ଯେତେ ପ୍ରକାର କରିଛନ୍ତି ଠାକୁର ଭିନ୍ନ ଜାଗାରେ ଭିନ୍ନ କଥା କହିଛନ୍ତି all goes down to those two things ଅଭ୍ୟାସ କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ ଆପଣ ଆଖି ବୁଝାମାନେ ମନଟା ପଡ଼ୁ ହେଉଛି ସେ ପ୍ରବଣତା ହେଉଛି କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ ଠାକୁର ଜଣାନ୍ତୁ କରିଚାଲନ୍ତୁ ଅଭ୍ୟାସଟା ଯଦି ରଖିଥିବେ ସେ ଗୋଟେ ସମୟରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପ୍ରକୃତି ଆପଣ ଜୟ କରିପାରିବେ। ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ବୈରାଗ୍ୟ ଖାଲି ଅଭ୍ୟାସ କଲେ ହୁଏନି ବହୁତ ଜଲ୍ଦି ହେଇଯିବ ଯଦି ବୈରାଗ୍ୟ ଟିକେ ଆସେ distraction all these material things you are not attracted to it. You are in the material thing. You have to buy grocery to eat and live. You have to have a roof over your head. You have to drive a car in the US. Otherwise, the areas we live, we are not surviving. All those things will be there, but you are not going to be attached to it. You are going to be dispassionate about it. CW practice करिए ता संगरे अभ्यास कर रखिए दीटा को रखिदेले एटा माने बहुत कष्ट मनटा कंट्रोल करिए किंतु इम्पॉसिबल नहीं से भगवान କରିଛନ୍ତି ଗୀତାରେ ଠାକୁର ବି ସେଟା ବହୁତ ଜାଗାରେ କରିଛନ୍ତି difficult ମାନେ difficult କିନ୍ତୁ impossible ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରନ୍ତୁ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ at some point you will get to a point କେତେଗୁଡ଼େ ଜିନିଷ କଲା ବେଳକୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ନିଦ ଲାଗିବନି ମନଟା ଆସିଯିବ ଏକାଥରେ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରନ୍ତୁ ସ୍ତୋତ୍ର ବନ୍ଦନାରେ ବୋଧେ କହୁଥିଲେ ସ୍ତୋତ୍ର ବନ୍ଦନାରେ ଯଦି ଆପଣ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ମୁହଁକୁ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ କରିବେ ତାଙ୍କୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ଆଖିଟା ସ୍ଥିର ହେଇକି ରହିବ ଆଖି ସ୍ଥିର ହେଲେ ମନଟା ସ୍ଥିର ହେଇଯାଏ ତାପରେ ୱାର୍ଡ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ଯାହା ଆପଣ ପାଟିରୁ ବାହାରୁଥିବ ତାର ଅର୍ଥଟା ବୁଝୁଥିବେ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ଜଣାଉଥିବେ ଏଇଟା କରିକି ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ମନଟା ସେଇ ସମୟରେ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ହିଁ ରହିବ ଆପଣ ଯିବନି ନା ମନର also has limitations how many things it can handle at a time there are limitations one of the they say that at any point of time you can handle 7 plus minus 2 5 ରୁ 9ଟା ଜିନିଷ ଭିତରେ ଆପଣ ଫିଲ୍ କରିପାରିବେ ଆପଣ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଯଦି ଆପଣ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ 3ଟା 4ଟା 5ଟା ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି ନା ଆମର ସ୍ତୋତ୍ରବନ୍ଦନାରେ ସବୁ ଯାକ କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ମନଟା କୁଆଡ଼େ ଯିବନି କିନ୍ତୁ ଗୋଟେ କିଛି ଛାଡ଼ିଦେଲା ସେଇ ଗୋଟାଏରେ ମନଟା ଆସି ବସିଯିବ ସେଇଟା ବସିକି ପାଟି ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ବିଚ୍ୟୁତ କରିଦେବ ନା ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ମୁହଁ ଦିଶୁଛି ନା କ'ଣ ଦିଶୁଛି ଯେପାଟି ଗୋଟେ ଆସନ ଖାଲି ଦିଶୁଛନ୍ତି ମନଟା ଯାଇ ପରେ ବୁଲୁଛି ଏମିତି ହେଇଯିବ ସୋ ଟ୍ରାଏ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଦିନକର କାମ ନୁହଁ ଦିନକର କାମ ହେଇଥିଲେ ଭଗବାନ କହିନଥାନ୍ତେ ଯେ ଅଭ୍ୟାସ କହନ୍ତି ସେ ଦିନକର ନୁହଁ ଦିନକର ନୁହଁ ବର୍ଷ ବର୍ଷ ଧରି ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିସ୍ କରି ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ହେଇଯିବ ତାପରେ ଏଇ ଅନ୍ୟ ଜିନିଷ ଏ ଯୋଉ ବ୍ରଜଭାଇ ଯୋଉ କଥାଗୁଡ଼ା କହୁଥିଲେ ଏଇଟା ବହୁତ ମାନେ way before you get to a way before you have to control those urges need to go then once you progress you can get into this neither like your don't go there ଅଭ୍ୟାସ ହେଇଯିବ ଅଭ୍ୟାସ ହେଇଯିବ our time here so we'll stop here I don't have a program next to me so Tracy has a Pratna Sangeeta Tracy when we are ready please
Yeah, we are.
Joy, you are joining AMSAS conference now.
Gender young aspirants, we'll start with attendance, and then we will ask Tracy to explain the meaning of her song, and then we'll go from there. Aditi? Very nicely. Very good. Ante? Ansh? Ansh? Anshul?
Jai Guru Master Bhakti.
Very good. Arya? Jai Guru. Avalon?
Mahasi Bhakti. Arshvi Bhakti.
Very good. Aryan? Divya? Timmy? Eva? Nathan?
जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Pratisha?
जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Pratish?
जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Sanvi?
जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Sarasa?
जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Sartha? Bhakti?
जय जगन्नाथ
Bobby?
जय
Jai Shilpi? Shreya?
जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Shreya?
जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Mandu?
जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Jimmy? Simran?
हमारे दायित्व
Jai Simran? Jai Shrita?
जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Suhani?
जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Deepa? Figuring aspects, if I missed anyone as people are coming, I'll let you know now. We're a little low on it. Okay, so Claudia, can you explain the meaning of the song that you just sang?
This song is a very devotional prayer and popular. The song says that I'm asking to be at your Lord's feet. I don't need or want any other heaven or anything else. I just want to pray to you and serve you.
Yeah. Just like many of our songs, it's another devotional piece. It's talking about how we want to be close to God, we want to serve Him, and many of our songs are kind of in that vein. Today we do have a much larger chunk than we usually do because we're finishing up the chapter and there wasn't a good stopping point, so we're going to get right into it. First, we're picking a little bit different. Today we're doing a reading from the that day. We did do this at the end of last month. So far, we've been in chapter 2. We're finishing up today, and we've heard and we've read about a discussion between Arjuna and Lord Krishna about the nature of the body, why Arjuna should fight the war, what the nature of the soul is, and this last piece that we've been reading about that we're going to finish up today is Arjuna's asked, how does an enlightened person behave? And Lord Krishna is explaining what that is and how we remain unattached in the world around us and what that means as far as our spiritual progression and getting to where Arjuna and all of us need to be spiritually. So this last piece is kind of continuing that. We'll discuss it, connect to other things that we've read, but because there's so much today, we're going to just get right into it, and Saraswati is going to read it for us. So Saraswati, when you're ready.
Okay, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. While contemplating on the object of his sense, one develops attachment to it. Attachment leads to desire, and from desire arises anger. Anger leads to clouding of judgment, which results in bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, the intellect gets destroyed. And when the intellect is destroyed, one is truth. But one who controls the mind and is free from attachment and aversion, even while using the objects of the senses, attains the greatest power. By divine grace comes the peace in which all sorrows end, and the intellect such persons of tranquil minds soon become firmly established in God. But an undisciplined person who has not controlled the mind and senses can neither have a resolute intellect nor steady concentration on God. For one who never unites the mind with God, there is no peace. And how can one who lacks peace be happy? Just as a strong wind sweeps a boat off its turning course on the water, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can lead its intellect astray. Therefore, one who has restrained the senses from their objects, O mighty Arjuna, is firmly established in transcendental knowledge. What all beings consider as day is the night of ignorance for the wise, and what all creatures see as night is the day for the introspective stage. Just as the ocean remains undisturbed by the incessant flow of waters from rivers merging into it, likewise the sage who is unmoved despite the flow of desirable objects all around him attains peace and not the person who strives to satisfy desires. That person who gives up all material desires and lives free from the sense of greed, proprietorship, and egoism attains perfect peace. O Bharata, such a state of an enlightened soul that having attained it, one is never again deluded. Being established in this consciousness, even at the hour of death, one is liberated from the cycle of life and death, and reaches the supreme abode of God. Good.
Very good. So before we begin our discussion of this, did anyone have any questions about what we've just read? Okay. And as always, as we're discussing, if anyone thinks of anything as we're going through and you've had some time to think about it and try to understand it, as always, you can ask at any point. So we're going to start, we had 10 verses today, finish this up and with a lot of information. So we're going to start from the top, kind of verse by verse, idea by idea, and go through. So these first two verses, Lord Krishna explains what the issue is with attachment and how it leads to various negative emotions and a lot of negativity in our lives. So, first question, Aditi, how does attachment become a problem? Attachment and attachment to things that we are sensing, how does that lead to negative effects? And what are those effects?
So attachment leads to having the desire to wanting a lot of things, and then when people don't get what they want, they get really angry, and in the end that just makes them forget about God and why do not ever want you to learn gender.
So when and it's explained here, basically what it's saying is, when you want something and you don't get it, you get mad. When you get mad, you're not thinking about necessarily, you're thinking about being mad, and you're losing, just like you said, that connection that you have. Whether you're losing your vision of trying to be closer to him and all of that, you're moving yourself away from it when you get angry, when you're stuck being angry because you can't have what you thought you wanted. So that in and of itself is going to be an issue and is going to lead to negative outcomes because you're not focused on that spiritual path. You're not focused on finding positive things in those connections you talked about. And so it's moving forward there. Okay. So then on the flip side, right, as we move forward, line 64, verse 2, Lord Krishna describes what happens when one is free from attachment. So what happens when one is free from attachment? Negative?
Can you repeat the question?
what happens when one is free from attachment?
Like if somebody doesn't have attachment, they attain the grace of God because they control their mind.
Right, so if one is free from attachment, that's an indicator that they are also in control of their mind. And so if they're in control of their mind, then they can, in the grace of God, meaning they can get that liberation, ultimate happiness, ultimate peace, however we've described. So while attachment to things and wanting things, having those desires and whatever you want in the world, having all of that can lead to negative outcomes. Not having that on the flip side gets you the most positive outcome, which is being Puja-2nd, getting ultimate salvation, enlightenment, however you want to describe that. Okay, so then with all of that, taking those two things together, why does one need to control the mind to get that ultimate happiness? Sandy, why does one need to control the mind to get ultimate happiness?
Driver, because like if they control themselves and they don't like get a good sense of and grace of God, and to do that you have to control your mind and be like not greedy and don't be too attached to like many things. And like when you like if you're not attached to many things, then you are taking the grace of God, Driver.
Yeah, you're right. So like one thing we can think of, if we're attached to a lot of things, that can make us act and feel and be greedy in many ways. So that's one of the things that we want to, that controlling our mind can get us away from, is we can control greed. And so that's something that can lead us to want more and go into the cycle where we're unhappy when we don't have the things we want. And all of those things keep us from being happy. So when we control the mind and we change our perspective in that way, then we can focus on the more positive things and then we can be happy. Where if we don't do that, it's going to be very difficult for us to keep that happiness. Okay, so we've established and we've discussed before the importance of controlling our minds and controlling our wants and not being greedy and those sorts of things. And we sort of discussed that it's difficult because we have senses, we experience the world with our senses, and when we see, feel, eat, so taste, hear, we use any of those senses and we're engaged in the world, that can lead us to want, right? And that can lead us to experiencing desire and then anger and that cycle that we just discussed. So later on in here in line 67, it says, just as a strong wind sweeps a boat off its chartered course on water, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can lead the intellect astray. What does that mean? And do you have any examples of how that can happen? How just one sense can distract you from anything that you're supposed to be doing or supposed to be focused on? Bobby?
One example that comes to mind is like when you're seeing something else while you should be focusing on, like say for instance you're in class and you're listening to the teacher, but you see something that distracts your mind and then pulls your attention away when you're supposed to be listening to your teacher.
Okay, so probably a lot of you had, like in class, you're listening, something's happening, and then the corner of your eye, you see some movement outside, you see something brightly colored, whatever it is, can be distracting, and then you lose concentration in a situation like that. One of you have any examples of how we've been distracted or one could be distracted by just one sense in one moment?
This is sometimes I'm like studying or practicing something, and my mind will just wander off because something else has
No, you're right. And all of us have probably experienced just whatever you're doing, you can say, I want to study, I want to practice a lot of music, things like that. I want to practice. Even when we're sitting in Puja and listening, a lot of us, no matter what you're doing, it's very easy to get distracted and lose focus. And it's so easy, like sometimes you need someone else to even get you back on the right path and back into concentrating whatever it is you're supposed to be concentrating on. So our senses, and even if you don't even necessarily need to see anything, your mind just kind of wanders. But our senses can be very powerful and can make it difficult for us to stay focused and can make it difficult for us not to be attached to what's going on and just to focus on Chakra and move forward. So they can be very powerful in that way. So we understand that this idea of being completely controlled in the mind and not desiring things and not being distracted, that is something that's very difficult to achieve. We understand that, and we'll go more into the importance of that. But as we move forward in there, so we know that our senses can be swayed very easily, they can distract us completely, very easily. So we understand that it's important, and we can discuss more and we'll hear more later how to get that focus. We're going to continue here. In line 70, we talk about what it looks like when someone is unattached and is able to be free from the distraction and has control of them. So line 70, it says, just as the ocean remains undisturbed by the incessant flow of waters from rivers merging into it, likewise the sage who is unmoved despite the flow of desirable objects all around him attains peace, and not the person who strives to satisfy desires. So for that line 70, what is that describing? What is the difference between those two types of people? And do we have examples of what that looks like? Or do you have examples of what that looks like in other people that we've maybe met or seen or heard about? Samson?
Sharing nothing is good shoe, repeat the question.
Yes. So for line 70, it describes two types of people. So what is the difference between the sage and a regular person? What does that look like? How do we recognize that in other people and in ourselves?
Well, the difference between the stage, and the person who, and the, normal person is basically the stage, he won't be he won't be moved by material, objects, and, the person who tries to satisfy himself, he still won't be happy even though he keeps on trying to get, more and more material stuff. Failure.
Right. So both of them are experiencing the same world. They both have senses. They're still hearing, seeing, tasting. Anything can be the same. Every single thing can be the same, but it's a mindset thing, right? The sage doesn't really care whatever's coming in, whatever he's seeing, whatever he's experiencing. None of that is changing his mindset. He's not really bothered by it. He doesn't want anything because he's not even distracted by things because he smells some food and he's not saying, okay, I smell this and I want it. It's just, I smell it and that moving on. Where the other person who's trying to satisfy desires, you might smell good food and then say, oh, I smell cookies, I want to go find that, I want to go eat that. And then you're in this constant cycle where you're trying to satisfy those desires and you're not going to be happy that way because you're going to be distracted, you're going to say you want something, you're going to go after that, and then like we talked about, if you don't get it, then you're upset. And we go into that cycle where someone who has obtained that peace, that has that transcendental knowledge, that person won't be moved by any of these things, any of these distracting things. That's a difference. And then we talked about because how do you do that? How do you not get distracted by things around you? How do you not want things that you see around you? I see.
Can you repeat the question?
So how do you, so if the ultimate achievement, trying to be happy is going to happen by not being distracted and not wanting things because you see it or you smell it or you're experiencing the world. How do you experience the world, as we all do, without wanting things and without being too attached by it or without being moved by it?
In general, you can focus on Hakro and giving and sharing Hakro.
Right, you're right. So we can do things that's designed for us to experience the world, and we're going to want things. That's human nature, and we're trying to move against that. So, if we notice something in ourselves, we're getting distracted, we're wanting more things than usual, then we can focus on Hakura and say Guru, you think about Hakura, and you can use the image of him or the thought of him to refocus yourself in the way that when you guys get distracted when you're studying something like that, someone else can come in, or you can do various things to reset and remember what you're supposed to be doing. We can do that. And then also doing things like you said, I see just focusing on sharing and spreading love in that way and doing things to kind of reduce us wanting things and focusing more on giving. Those sorts of things can help us reset our mindset and get us to focus less on wanting things and more on focusing on Hakura. So just catching ourselves and thinking more about sharing, or catching ourselves and thinking about Hakura. Those are things that can reset and help us practice being more unattached. The same question, how else can we practice being unattached or work on that? Shrita, what do you think?
How we can do it is like doing meditation, which keeps you calm and not be too greedy about getting things taken.
Right. So we can do meditation and check ourselves. Do we really need things? Do we need a lot of things? Why do we want that? And question that for ourselves and try to think about really what do we need and why do we need it and why are we doing these things, and pull ourselves away from doing that. But practices like meditation can help us stay calm. So if we get into that cycle, we won't get into the angry state and stay there as long. That can help reset. Okay. So those are ways that we can, in this species, get into that mindset. So then here there's, in the very last line, there's one final thing, right? So we've established that being unattached is that way to get that perfect peace, that perfect happiness, being free of material desires, and the meditation that you've gotten there. And that's something people should do, and we have some ways that we can practice that and get closer to that state. But there's an interesting thing listed here, right? We've established it's difficult, it's hard. And in this last line, we say, it's such a state of an enlightened soul that having attained it, one is never again deluded. So once you get to that state, once you really get to that state, you're not going to be distracted again. You're there. And then it says, being established in this consciousness, even at the hour of death, one is liberated from the cycle of life and death and reaches the supreme abode of God. So, we're all reading this, right? What is interesting about that? Why would this be important? Is there anything that sticks out to you in that, G?
Can you repeat the question?
So that last line that we have, right, we've been talking about how difficult it is and maybe some ideas that we have for becoming unattached and being in that kind of consciousness where we are unattached. Reading that last line, what does that say about how long we have to do that to be in that state, to get that liberation from it?
Jagru, it basically just says that if you establish your consciousness, even in your hour of death, you can be liberated in the cycle of life and death. Jagru.
Right. So does that mean that you have to perfect this right now immediately? Do you have to, as all of us are talking about and trying to practice this and getting there, does it mean that we have to get it perfect and figure it out right now or what, and do that for years, or what does that mean?
Jagru, I think it just means that if you practice it over time, you can get it right.
Right. It means we have time to practice it and time to try to get it right, because it's not something that you have to be perfect at it and be perfect at it the whole time you're doing it. We know that we're not going to be perfect at this. We know that none of us are going to figure this out the first time around. It's something that's difficult to do. It's going to take us probably a really long time. Some of you might have easier times with some of us might have difficult times, and there are going to be difficulties in this. But once we get there, however we get there, once you get there, that's enough. So yes, it's going to take, you have to practice and you have to go through and do all of that work. But getting to that state is very important. And we need to remember, and as we're trying to get there, we don't have to be perfect in that state to practice there and try to get there. Just once we've gotten there, that's enough. But practicing, we don't have to be perfect each time. And so if we are trying to get better, if we are trying to think about how can we be unattached, if we are being swayed and we're able to catch ourselves and figure out ways to get back, all of that is progress for us, and that's what we should be focusing on, is trying to get closer to that. The next time we're going to discuss all the things that we've learned through this chapter and bits and pieces that we can take from it. With this, we are out of time, and I'm going to I should today. This should be in your end.
During the live month of Aspen, I'm really blessed to have the opportunity to share my thoughts and feelings about the start of a new chapter of my life. I'm done with high school and I'm about to transition state university in a few weeks. I'm moving out on August 27th. I'm really sad about leaving my family because all of the good memories and how much I love their presence. However, I'm really excited for this change as well. I'm excited to meet new people and have opportunities like internships and undergrad research to help me be more ready for med school. It's really sad to think about how I can't go back to high school and how that chapter is over. Graduation felt fulfilling with receiving my diploma. It felt surreal seeing my parents so proud that day. I ended up having a small graduation party with close family friends that I basically consider my siblings. Later on, AMSAS was made for this year, and it felt nice seeing my family after 2 years. I was blessed to see a few of these temples and see Raketa with large areas for Jagannath,
Balabhadra and Subhadra. Overall, this summer has mostly been about accepting changes and reflecting about my high school journey. I gained a peace with many things I hadn't healed from. I let people and problems go away with the end of high school. High school ended up not being as bad as I thought it would be, and hopefully college will be the same or even better. High school has taught me to be more open-minded and to focus primarily on what you can control rather than the circumstances you can't control. I learned that I should get out of my comfort zone more because otherwise I wouldn't know what could happen. I'm grateful for every memory I have, regardless of how bad it was, because it shaped me into a better person. I'm glad I met a close group of friends and can't wait to make more great friends in college. Many of these close friends are moving to different states, and I'm proud of how far they came, and I wish them all the best. I'm grateful to Tucker for always being there to help me, guide me through tough times and use those lessons as crucial parts of my life. I'm fortunate to have a supportive family and tight friends to depend on. I'm also fortunate to be a part of Young Aspirant. I get the opportunity to learn about the importance of being selfless and different key traits to be a good disciple, such as anger management, having no ego, and being free from materialistic pursuits.
ଅଧିକା ମିଳିପାରୁଛି ମୁଁ ଆଶ୍ରମରେ ନଥାଇକି ବି ଦୂରରୁ ଯାହା କିଛି ଅଳ୍ପ କରିପାରୁଛି ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିଛି ନିହାତି କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆଉ ଆଜି ଏମିତି ସମୀକ୍ଷା ଦିନ ବର୍ଷ ସାରା କେମିତି ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ଭାବଧାରାରେ ନିଜକୁ ଚଳେଇ ପାରିଛି କେମିତି କ୍ରିୟା କରିପାରିଛି ଆଉ ନିଜର ପୂଜା ବି କରିପାରିଛି ଚେଷ୍ଟା ନିହାତି ରହିଛି ଆଉ କ୍ରିୟା ପାଇଁ ମାନେ ନିରଲିପି ପୂରଣ କରିବାର ବି ପୁରା ଚେଷ୍ଟା ରହିଛି ସବୁ ମାସେ କରିଛି ଲାଷ୍ଟ 2-3 ମାସରୁ ଟିକେ ମୋର ଶୃଙ୍ଖଳା ମାନେ ମେଣ୍ଟେନ୍ ହେଇପାରିନି ଟିକେ ଲେଟ୍ ଚାଲିଛି ଇଭେନ୍ 2-3 ମାସ ପଠେଇଛି ମୋର ପୂରଣ ଅଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ଇମେଲ୍ ବି ପଠେଇନି ଏତେ ମାନେ ପିଲା ମାରିଦେଇଛି ମୁଁ ତା ପାଇଁ ସଂକ୍ରାନ୍ତି ଅଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ମାନେ କ୍ରିୟା ପାଇଁ ଏଇଟା ହେଲ୍ପ ହିଁ ହେଲା ମାନେ ସମସ୍ତେ କହନ୍ତି ମନ କେମିତି ଶାନ୍ତ ହେଇଯାଏ ଆଜି ଏକାଗ୍ର ତା ବିଷୟରେ ଡିସ୍କସନ୍ ହଉଥିଲା ତ ମତେ ଗୋଟେ ମନେ ପଡ଼ିଲା ଯେବେ ମୁଁ ଜ୍ଞାନୀକୁ ପଢ଼େ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିଥିଲି 2 ବର୍ଷ ତଳେ ମାନେ ପଢ଼ୁ ପଢ଼ୁ ଏତେ ନିଦ ମାରୁଥିଲା ମାନେ କିଛି ବୁଝା ହଉନଥିଲା ତାପରେ ବହି ପଢ଼ିଲା ତାପରେ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଟାଇମ୍ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟେଡ୍ ରିଡ଼ିଂ ବହୁତ ଇଜି ହେଇଗଲା ମାନେ ନିଜେ ନିଜେ କିଛି କିଛି ବୁଝିପାରିଲି ଆଉ ନିଦ ମାରୁନଥିଲା ସେଥିପାଇଁ କହୁଥିଲେ ପ୍ରାଥମିକ ଅବସ୍ଥା ଥିଲା ସେଇଟା କି ନିଦ ଆସିଯାଏ ବାରମ୍ବାର କିନ୍ତୁ ଅଗେନ୍ ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିସ୍ ଚାଲିଛି ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରି ଚାଲିଛୁ ସବୁଦିନ ଟିକେ ପ୍ରଭାବିତ ହେଉଛି ଟିକେ ପଛକୁ ଆସିଯାଉ ପୁଣି ଆଉ ଥରେ ଆମେ ଟ୍ରାଏ କରୁ ମନକୁ ସ୍ଥିର କରି ଠାକୁରଙ୍କର ଲଗାଇବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରୁ ତ ସେଠି କହିକି ମୁଁ ଭଗବାନଙ୍କ ଚାଲିବୁ
ଜୟଗୁରୁ ଠାକୁର ସମସ୍ତ ମନରେ ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ଜୟଗୁରୁ ଆଉ ଭାଇ ଯାହା କଲେ ମୁଁ ବି ସେୟା ହିଁ ଭାବୁଥିଲି କି ଆଜି ବର୍ଷରେ ଗୋଟେ ଥର ପାଳିବି ଆଉ ମାନେ ହାଇଦ୍ରାବାଦରେ ବି ସେଠି ଯେହେତୁ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟଟକ ଅଛି ସେଠି ସେଠି ପାଳିତ ହୋଇଥାଏ ତ ଯୋଉ ଏଇଟା ପାଳିତ ସେବା ମିଳୁଛି ସେଥିରେ ସବୁବେଳେ ଧରିକି ମାନେ ନିଜକୁ କେମିତି ସମୀକ୍ଷା କରିକି ଆଗରୁ ଟିକେ ବର୍ଷ ତଳେ କି ବର୍ଷ ତଳେ ହିଁ ମାନେ ସବୁବେଳେ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କର ଏଇଠି ଯୋଉ ବି ଆମେ ଘର ମାନେ ଇଏରେ ଯୋଉ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କର ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା ଅଛି ସେଠି ସବୁବେଳେ ପୂଜା କରିବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରେ ଆଉ ଇଏ କରେ ଏବେ କାମ ଯୋଗୁ ଟିକେ ସକାଳ ପୂଜାଟା ମାନେ ପ୍ରାୟତଃ ମାନେ ଯୋଗ ଦେଇ ପାରୁନି କାରଣ ଅଫିସ ବହୁତ ଆଜି ମର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ଦେଲାଣି ତ ମୋତେ ଯିବାକୁ ପଡ଼େ କିନ୍ତୁ ଆଜି ଯୋଉଟା ଭାଇ କହିଲେ ସେଟା ମାନେ ମୁଁ ସବୁଠି ଦେଖୁଛି ଖାଲି ମାନେ ପୂଜା ସମୟରେ ବି ଯଦି ସେଟା ବିକ୍ଷିପ୍ତ ହେଲା ମାନେ କୋଉ ବି କାମ କଲେ ସେଟା ଭଲ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ପୂଜା କଲେ ସେଟା ତ ଇଏ ସେଟା କୋଉଠି ବି ଆପଣ କରିବେ ସେଇ ସମୟଟା ନିହାତି ଆପଣ ଡେଭଲପ୍ ହେବେ ହିଁ ହେବେ ମୁଁ ସବୁବେଳେ ଦେଖେ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ତ ମୁଁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରେ ମୁଁ ବେଶୀ ଫୋନ୍ ୟୁଜ୍ କରେନି କିନ୍ତୁ ସେଠି ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ୍ ଚାର୍ଜ ନେବାକୁ ସେମିତି ଗୋଟେ କଥା କହୁଛୁ ଯଦି ହାତରେ ପଳେଇଯାଏ କ'ଣ ସେଟା ମୁଁ ଏଇ ବର୍ଷର ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ନେଲି ଯେ କି ହଁ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ତ ପଡ଼େ କାରଣ କି କ'ଣ ଦେଲା ମାନେ କୋଉଟା ମାନେ ଅଫିସିଆଲ ଆସେ କୋଉଟା ମାନେ ଘର ଲୋକ ବି ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଯଦି କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼େ ଜିନିଷ ଫୋନ୍ଟା ନିହାତି କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼େ ତାପରେ ଦେଖିବୁ କିନ୍ତୁ ମାନେ ଯୋଉ ସମୟରେ ମୋତେ କନସେନ୍ଟ୍ରେଟ୍ କରିବାର ଅଛି କି ସେଇ ସମୟରେ ମୁଁ ନିହାତି କନସେନ୍ଟ୍ରେଟ୍ କରିବି ମୁଁ ନିଜ କାମକୁ ପୂଜା ସମୟରେ ସେଇଟାକୁ ମୁଁ ମାନେ ପ୍ରାୟୋରିଟି ଦେବି ସେଇଟା ମୁଭି ଯୋଉଟା ଭାଇ କହିଲେ ଆଉ ମାନେ ସେଟା ମାନେ 200% ସତ୍ୟ ସେଟା ମୁଁ ନିଜକୁ ମାନେ ସେଟା ସବୁବେଳେ ଇଏ କରୁଛି ଆଉ ଏଇ ମାନେ ରିସେଣ୍ଟଲି ଆମେ ବି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ଯାଇଛୁ ଆଉ ବହୁତ ବର୍ଷ ପରେ ମୁଭି ରଥଯାତ୍ରା ଦେଖିକି ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା ଏତେ କ୍ରାଉଡ୍ ଦେଖିକି ଟିକେ ଡର ଲାଗୁଥିଲା ବାହାରୁ ଯାଇଥିଲୁ ବହୁତ ଥିଲେ ଗାଡ଼ି ହଉଛନ୍ତି ରଥଯାତ୍ରା କିନ୍ତୁ ବହୁତ ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା ଏଇଟା ଆଉ ସବୁଠୁ ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା ଯେତେବେଳେ ରାଉରକେଲାରୁ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଗଲୁ ଆଉ ଯୋଉଦିନ ଯାଇକି ପହଞ୍ଚିଥିଲା ସଣ୍ଡେ ଥାଏ ଆଉ ବାବା କହିଲେ ତମେ ଆଜି ତମେ ଆପଣ ପ୍ରସାଦ ପାଇବ ଆଉ 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 କିଛି ରୋଷେଇ କରନା ଆପଣ ଯାଇକି ପ୍ରସାଦ ପାଇବ ତ ସେଟା ମୋତେ ଏତେ ଖୁସି ଲାଗିଲା ଦେଇଥିଲା ବହୁତ ଖୁସି ହେଇଥିଲା ବହୁତ ବର୍ଷ ପରେ ତିନି ବର୍ଷ ପରେ ଆମେ ଆଶ୍ରମକୁ ମାନେ ଯାଇଥିଲୁ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖିକି ଆଉ ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଆଶ୍ରମ ବହୁତ ମାନେ ଭଲ ଘର ଠାକୁରଙ୍କର ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଇଏ ଆଶ୍ରମଟା ବହୁତ ବଢ଼ିଆ ହେଇଛି ପ୍ରସାଦ ପାଇଲୁ ଏତେ ଦିନ ପରେ ବହୁତ ବହୁତ ଖୁସି ଲାଗିଲା ଆଉ ବହୁତ ମିସ୍ କରୁଛୁ ସେ ଜିନିଷଟାକୁ ସେଟା ଖାଇକି ବହୁତ ଖୁସି ଲାଗିଲା ଆଉ ଆମେ କେମିତି କୋଉ ବର୍ଷରେ ବି ସବୁବେଳେ ଆଶ୍ରମ ଯାଇପାରୁଛୁ ସେଇଟା ବହୁତ ମିସ୍ କରୁଛୁ ଆଶ୍ରମକୁ ଆଉ ସବୁବେଳେ ଠାକୁର କହିଛନ୍ତି ବି ଶୀତଳ ମାନେ ପାଇଁ ସବୁ କରୁଛି ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ବି ଆମର ଚାଲିଛି ଆମେ ପଢୁଛି ସେବା ବହିରେ ବହୁତ ବର୍ଷ ତଳେ ଏବେ ମାନେ ବେଶୀ ପଢାପଢି ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଏବେ ତ ବହି ନାହିଁ ଆଉ ସେଗୁଡା ମାନେ ଆମ ପାଖରେ ପିଡିଏଫ୍ ଅଛି ସେଗୁଡା ବି ପଢେ ତ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବୁ କିଛିଟା ବହି ମଗେଇଛୁ ତ ସେଟା ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବୁ ସବୁଦିନ ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ କିଛି ବି ଅଧ୍ୟାୟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆଉ ପଢୁଥିଲି ଯଦି ଭଲ ସେବା କରୁଥିବ ମାନେ କନଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଟଲି ତାର ଗୋଟେ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ଦୀକ୍ଷା ଥିବ ତାହେଲେ ଯଦି ସେବା କରୁଥିବ ତାକୁ ବାସି ମାନେ ତାର ବାସି ସେବାର ଓଲଟା ସେବାଟା ଯଦି ଲିଟରାଲି ଏଇଟା ଓଲଟା କରିଦେଲେ ବାସି ଯଦି ଆମେ ଭଲ ସେବା କରିବା ତାହେଲେ ଆମକୁ କହିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ଯେ ବାସି ଅଛି ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ସେବା ବାସେ ତ ଯିଏ ପ୍ରକୃତିରେ ଆମେ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ସେବା କରୁଥିବା ଆମ ମନ ପ୍ରାଣ ମାନେ ତିନିଟା ଜିନିଷ ଠାକୁର ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ଆମକୁ ସେଇଟା ଯଦି ଆମେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦେଇକି ଡାକି ପାରୁଥିବା ତାହେଲେ ମାନେ ସେ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଠାକୁର ପାଖରେ ପହଞ୍ଚିବ ସେ ଜିନିଷଟା ଆମେ କନସେନ୍ଟ୍ରେସନ ଦରକାର ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଦରକାର ଠାକୁର ନିୟମ ପ୍ରତି କର୍ମାଞ୍ଚଳ ନିୟମ ସବୁବେଳେ ତ ମାନିବେ କିନ୍ତୁ କିଛିଟା ଆମେ ତା ମନର ଅବସ୍ଥାଟା ମନଟା ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ଲଗେଇବ ଯୋଉ ଅବସ୍ଥାରେ ମନଟା ଦେଇପାରିବା ଫିଜିକାଲି ନ ଦେଇପାରିଲେ ଦେଇପାରିବା ସେଇଟା ଆମେ ସେଟା ବି ଆମକୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ୟୁରୋପ ପାଖରେ ସବୁବେଳେ କି ତାଙ୍କର ମନଟା ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ରଖିଥିବ ଅନ୍ତର ସାଧନାଟା ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ସବୁଠୁ ବଡ଼ ସାଧନା ବହି ସାଧନାଟା ଠିକ ଅଛି ବହି ସାଧନା କଲେ ଆମର ସାଧନାଟା ହୁଏ କିନ୍ତୁ ବହି ସାଧନା ସଙ୍ଗେ ସଙ୍ଗେ ସବୁବେଳେ ଅନ୍ତର ସାଧନା ରଖିଥିବ କାରଣ କି ବହି ସାଧନା ଅନ୍ୟମାନେ ଦେଖିପାରୁଥିବେ ଯଦି ତମେ କଣ କରୁଛ କଣ ଅନ୍ତର ସାଧନା କେମିତି କରୁଛି କଣ କରୁଛ ଆମର କୋଉ ସ୍ଥିତିରେ ଅଛ ସେଟା ତମେ ନିଜେ ଜାଣିପାରୁଥିବ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ସବୁବେଳେ ଭାଇ ସମସ୍ତେ ସେଇ ସାଧନା ଇଏ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ସେଟା କରିନା ସଂସ୍ଥା କିନ୍ତୁ ଏମିତି କହିଲେ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିଚାଲିଛି ତ ମୁଁ ଦୌଡ଼ା ହେଇଯାଇଛି ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି କି କେମିତି କଣ କରା ଭାଇଙ୍କୁ କହିଛି ଏଥର କି ହାଇଦ୍ରାବାଦରେ ଆମେ ସବୁବେଳେ ଖାତାରେ ପଢୁଥିଲୁ ଆଉ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ଖାଇବା ଟିକେ ଅନଲାଇନ୍ ଅଛି ମୁଁ ଖାଇପାରୁନି ଭାଇଙ୍କୁ କହିଛି ଆଉ ଆମେ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ପୁରା କରିବୁ କହିଲେ ଜଣା ପଡ଼ିବ ଆମେ କୋଉଠୁ ମିଷ୍ଟେକ୍ ହଉଛି ସେଇଟାକୁ ଆମେ କ୍ଲାରିଫାଏ ଟିକେ କରିବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଏ ଦୁଇଟା ମାନେ ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି ଏଇ ବର୍ଷ କରିବି ମାନେ ଯେମିତି ଆର ବାଡ଼ିରେ କହିପାରିବ କି ନାହିଁ ମୁଁ ମାନେ ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ପୂଜାରେ ଠିକ୍ ସେ କରିଦେଉଛି ଆଉ ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ଦିନ ଚିନ୍ତା କରୁଛି ଏଇଟା ମୁଁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବି ନିହାତି ଭାବରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ କହିବି ଆଉ ସେଟା ଆମେ କରିବୁ ମେଡିକାଲ ରହୁଛି
ପୂଜା ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ମଧ୍ୟାହ୍ନ ଭୋଗ ପାଇଁ ଆସନ୍ତି ଆଉ ଏଠି ପୂଜା ପାଇଁ
Safety chapter of the Paris Mountain and Excellent Shore Actually on Access Constitution of the August 23rd, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Please turn the generator.
Tetapi apa amar bindi bahasa kerja saya untuk apa yang untuk kita akhirnya orang mula orang tidak tahu karena apa yang baru itu dari orang